Hello peoples, welcome back to another episode of World of Warcraft Dungeon Progression Challenge, episode 46. I'm going to start raids today in the Vault of Archavon. Now, this raid is kind of unique in that a new boss was added throughout the expansion 3 times, a total of 4 bosses, and each boss drops, well, different item levels of loot. So, the way I'm going to do this is I'll go back once I reach the level of raids that drop the same gear as, well, the boss. Well, it's easier to explain this way. So, the first boss that was in here is Archavon, because it's his vault. He drops level 200 stuff, so I'm going to run him first. And then the next boss was Emelon. He drops like 213, no, like 219 or 226. So he'll be next once I get to Ulduar level, and so on. So here's Archavon. He's way at the end of the hallway, at the very end. Kind of doesn't make sense because you'd expect the first boss to be one of the first ones you'd come up against, but hey, that's the way it was when it was introduced. Anyway, he has three special abilities that I do recall. Oh yeah, and this time I get to see just what I can expect from Wrath bosses in raids. Not too tough and probably nothing to worry about. So one thing he does is a channeled, I guess, rock toss? No, not rock toss, more like sort of like Mage Blizzard, except with the rocks, and it will follow you if you try to move out of it. So don't move into other players, just let other players move away from you when he's doing this. Another thing, he'll pick up the tank and toss them against a wall. This is when the off tank will taunt him. And one last thing I think is Dust Cloud. Deals damage over time and, well, just don't stand in it. I don't think he'll do any of these things when I'm in here solo. Goodbye, thank you. And if you're lucky, he will drop some tier pants or hands for you, as well as all kinds of PvP gear. Okay, that's Archavon. Next one up is Sartharian. Shoot, what's he called again? Sartharian? Pretty sure. Alright, an Obsidian Sanctum. Now, as I fly over there, I'm going to go over a few things while I have the time. The Dungeon Progression Challenge is where you take a naked max level character and go through all the dungeons in the game up to Cataclysm's Dragon Soul raid. Collecting gear only from those dungeons, running them once, because farming them over and over until you get the best drops is kind of cheaty. Anyways, and the point of it is basically to see just how far you can get. And another thing I want to go over is the rules of raids in Wrath with heroics and multiple difficulties that I'm going to start encountering very shortly. Okay, and the rules for raids from this point onward is, I'm just going over my notes here, let me see. Run raids in difficulty order, which means I'm going to run every single raid, and that means Obsidian Sanctum 10 and 25, but in difficulty order means I'm going to run all raids first that drop level 200 epic gear, and once I'm done with that, I'll come back here to run all the raids that drop level 213 gear. That means once I'm done with this and a couple others, I'll go back to do Archavon. And then Sartharian, Naxxramas, and I have Eternity. Actually, I have Eternity 10 man is the next one after Naxxramas. What else? It makes most sense to do. Just looking over my notes a lot here. More to do, but more true to the spirit of Dungeon Progression Challenge. Yeah, just to see how far I can get and if there's any actual difficulty harder than I'm able to complete. Have better of idea of how far I can get. So yeah, only use raid gear if raid is cleared. Yeah, that is a pretty good rule I've set for myself. Because if I can't clear the raid, then it really doesn't count. It just doesn't feel right to take gear from the first boss and then having to wipe on the next boss over and over. Just kind of cheat it that way. Depending on roadblocks, skip raid or stop there. And only skip if clear easiest. So if I can clear Obsidian Sanctum 10, for example, then I can do Obsidian Sanctum 25. However, when they get harder, like Ice Crown 25 Heroic, if I can't clear a boss there, I can't use any of the gear on it, but I can use the gear from 10-man Heroic or 25 Normal. But I will also do the speed up thing like I do with Heroics once I run raids again after the first time. Okay, that should be everything. Good thing this is a short raid, so I can get it done quickly. Right, so it's Obsidian Sanctum. You want to clear 3 bosses up on the cliffs first, and the trash, all the trash, because they do pull with Sartharian. Let me just do that real quickly. Okay, that was fun. And as you can see, there's nothing left. That's because I accidentally pulled one of the bosses and had to escape to reset the instance. However, trash should still be dead, but leaving only the bosses. The reason I'm leaving them up is because I'm still trying to get achievements in raids and stuff as I go through them. So this should be pretty fun. The achievement here is, well, there are several, is to defeat Sartharian while Vesperon, Shadron, and Tenebron are still up. And there's also a achieve for leaving 1 or 2 Great Drakes up, another achieve for avoiding the lava waves, and another achieve for not getting hit by falling fireballs. Now, to do this successfully, I want to try to defeat Sartharian before any of the really disruptive things that can happen due to having several Drakes up will happen. One of them actually keeps me from damaging Sartharian, I think. I don't remember exactly, but it is important anyway. Try to take him out. So he'll call for his buddies. He's half dead. 25%. That was quick. So this is for not getting hit by falling fireballs. This is for, what was it, just 10 men clear. This is 1 Drake up, 2 Drakes up, and 3 Drakes up. You get a mount from this. The Black Drake. You may have seen it at the start of the dungeon. There it is. It's a 100% drop with all 3 Drakes up on 10 man. You get a 22 slot bag. Not an upgrade for me. I'll take this. It has money in it. Healer belt, mail boots. Oh, tier gloves. I forgot all about tier. He drops tier gloves. You get the rest from Naxxramas. Helm, chest, shoulders, and legs. Okay, which is actually where I'm headed to next. Let's go. Welcome to Naxxramas. This is a very unique raid in that it is split up into several parts. You can proceed through the raid however you see fit. Through, well, any corner. There are 4 quadrants: Arachnid Quarter, Construct Quarter, Military Quarter, and Plague Quarter. But it is not the case these days, but it used to be that you had to clear all these 4 before accessing the final part with Kil'Thuzad. And the way it is now is that there's a little translocation orb of Naxxramas you can click on to just head straight to him without clearing anything prior. So I'm going to start off with the Arachnid Quarter because that's how, well, that's usually the starting wing. That's what it was back when people raided this place. So first boss is Anub'ara Khan. He doesn't have a achievement per se, but there is an achievement that requires you to defeat Maxna, final boss, within 20 minutes of defeating Anub'ara Khan. It's called Arachnophobia. So he's got several abilities. He'll summon Crypt Fiends who will just have to be picked up by an off-tank. He does spikes that travel across the floor and knock players upward in a line. Just be sure not to have other players between you and the boss. And he's also got a Carrion Swarm that silences players nearby. So range would want to stand pretty far away from him when he does that, and I guess melee or tanks would have to be healed through it. One thing I saw in a video was that tanks would kite him around this edge here. Anyways, raid bosses aren't too tough, made evident by Archavon. So I got nothing to worry about. He's almost dead. 3%. And now he's fully dead. He didn't even summon a Crypt Fiend. Healer chests. Next boss is Grand Widow Fairlina. I don't remember. Let's see. Grand Widow Fairlina. Yes, I was right. So her special thing about this fight is that she will periodically enrage, increasing attack speed by a significant amount. And there's actually a mechanic where if you defeat one of her worshippers near her, the frenzy will be dispelled. So that's pretty much how you would have to do the fight. One tank would hold the edge, one tank would hold Fairlina. She's also got, I think, Poison Bolt or Poison Volley, something like that, as well as Rain of Fire and maybe one other thing, but I don't really remember what it is. Achievement is to defeat her without dispelling frenzy. So you can do that by either ignoring the ads and using only single target abilities. Now, you may think the achievement is nulled because of this message, but there was no frenzy up in the first place. Anyways, one way is to do it is to kill the ads right away, then Faralina, or the other way is to just single target her without damaging the ads at all, and keeping them up for the whole time. Leather and cloth, not for me. Final boss, Maxna? Well, I'm not sure how to say it, but it's a really big spider. Here it is, Maxna, that's what I'm going to call it. Deal with it. So, let me see. 1, 2, I think 3 or 4 special abilities, but Maxna does the abilities in a certain order. Very easy to deal with that way. One main thing was she will web certain players, and it will knock them back pretty far away in a direction directly opposite of her. So if I get webbed, she would fling me against this wall. I can't even heroic leap across this floor. So I'd be flung against the wall, trapped, and players would have to run out to me and free me and attack the web to break it. Then I run back in and resume. Another thing she does is summon spiderlings that will attack each player individually. One spiderling per player, I think. You would probably want to stack up for that. And okay, she has a frontal, I think, poison breath that she casts on the tank, and it leaves a debuff that stacks armor. What is it, armor failure? Well, more damage taken, so it's a basic tank swap ability. So rather than being stuck in a web or letting her cast it, I'm going to try to defeat her very quickly. Oh yeah, she's also got a low health frenzy there. Ooh, upgrade? No, I'd lose strength but get armor, stamina, and crits. No thanks. I will sell it though. Oh, Maxna has a chance to drop a little bone spider pet. If you're looking for pets, and to complete raiding with leashes achievement. I think it's the first one. Collect leashes, 2 leashes. Yep, this is raiding with leashes 1. Next quarter, where will I go? Suppose I'll go Construct Quarter. Why not? Here he comes. Now, unlike most bosses, you want to clear the room first, because he will pull the whole room, well, anything that's left up, when he is pulled, he himself. Now, you can wait for him to cross these slimes, jumping over the path, or you can just move on over to him yourself. It's fine, you can wait for him. He comes to about here. Doesn't do much, just all he does is hit the tanks. And I think, yeah. And he's got another ability that is cast on his second most threatening target, which would be the off-tank. So they'd have to stack up together and he would just constantly melee attack them. And he's got like a 10 or 5% frenzy. The achievement is to defeat him within, I think, 2 minutes. Let me check the loot first. Upgrade, nope. Dagger, nope. Achievement is defeat him in 3 minutes. Which I did. Good job, me. And next boss is Frogger Boss. Erg, I'm dead. It would be, well, I don't know, because of lag, or maybe people didn't know exactly where to cross in front of these things, that they would die. And, you'd have to take into account server latency as to where the blob actually is. So a lot of people would die, you would run past, and you have to res. What I would do is, like, if a player died here, I would res them here, instead of after the last line, so they'd have to try again. So it would be extra funny. Anyways, next boss is in the next room, Grobulus. Now, Grobulus is a pretty fun fight. He's got a lot of cool mechanics that I'd say is pretty worthy of a raid boss. The main thing is poison clouds on the ground. Periodically, he'll spawn a poison cloud that will grow over time, so you would have to kite him along the outside of the room. And by the time you got to where you started, the first cloud will have disappeared, and you're pretty much safe as long as you don't move too fast and spread clouds too quickly. Another thing he'll do is debuff a player that when that debuff falls off, or when it's dispelled, it's a disease, so anyone who can dispel diseases can cause it to drop early. When it drops, it causes that player to also drop a cloud, and the best place to drop those would be behind where the tank is leading Grobulus, or where players will not be, or where they have just been. And last thing is he'll do a cone spray that spawns a slime for every player hit, and they are pretty, I don't know, they're pretty tough to deal with. I think they really like to seek out non-tanks and just make life miserable. And I think it is still the case that you remain in combat as long as there's a poison cloud up. Come on, there it is, poison cloud. You can see it starting to form there. Please, can I get some loot already? Well, that is loot, but not an upgrade. I'll take it to sell. Oh, look, I am out of combat. Hooray. Next boss is Gluth. Next boss is Gluth. I like to say Gluth. You have to navigate your way across this pipe, don't fall down or the raid will laugh at you, and you have to make your way all around through the patchwork and the slime frogger thing, up the ramp. It's kind of fun. So he's just through this pipe. Please stick to the right side because there's a hole in the left close to the end. The special thing with Glyph was that there are zombies that spawn on these grates who would slowly make, well, yeah, if they weren't engaged, they would slowly make their way to Gluth. Argademes. Anyways, and if they do reach him, he'll eat them to regain health, like 5 or 10%. It would really suck at that at the time. So one thing you could do is have a tank in the back, try to kite these, but it would be more common to have, actually no, not a tank. You would have a hunter or frost mage or something like that to kite these guys around until the decimation phase, which is, I think, 5 or 10 seconds where Gluth will do nothing and reduce the health of all units, zombies, and players. That's pretty cool looking. To like very, very low, so you'd have 5 seconds to heal everybody up, to destroy all the zombies that have spawned, and, well, anything else. And for the tank swap, the reason I say you don't want a tank kiting the zombies is because he does have tank swap ability, which reduces healing done, and it stacks to like 99.9%. Final boss is Thaddeus. Oh, hello, Vigilant Shade. Thaddeus is just in here, and he's not immediately attackable. What you have to do is defeat Stalag and Fugen close to the same time. If one is dead for too long while the other is still up, the first one will resurrect, and, well, you won't be able to proceed. Kind of sucks that way, and the way to solo this is just to engage one, not attack, but wait to reduce their health until the other makes his way over to you. They have a tank swap mechanic where they will throw their tank to the other, monstrosity, construct, whatever they are. I think they're called whites in Sholazar Basin. And he's going to toss me. Toss me through the floor. That was great. Tricky thing after defeating them was jumping off this edge here, because you can't run straight off. There's not enough distance, so you'd either have to jump, get slow falled, levitated by priests, something like that. So both Tesla coils overload, then you can attack Thaddeus. Oh, he might take longer to beat because he has a massive health pool compared to other bosses. Anyways, the main thing he does is Polarity Shift. He'll afflict players with either a positive or negative charge. And, well, as long as you have a charge, you will deal area damage to players with a opposite charge. Negative players will deal damage to players with a positive charge, and vice versa. However, if all like-charged players stack together, they gain a damage buff. So, in a 10-man raid, you would have 5 negatively charged players standing together. Does that show here? Damage done increased by nearby. It doesn't say how much, but I'm not even getting that buff in the first place. I guess it would say how much if I even got one. Upgrade, healer legs. Nope. Ooh. Legs for a warrior, thank you. Achievements is to not cause polarities to, cross, interact. Don't ever hit a player with negative and positive charge together. Defeat him with small number of players. less than 9, that's 8 or less, and clear the entire construct quarter. Okay, I think I'll end the video here and do the rest of Naxxramas next time, which is military quarter and I think plague quarter. Oh, as well as, well, Kel'Thuzad's lair, whatever it is. Okay, if you like this video, leave a like. And if you want to follow along with the series or anything else on my channel, feel free to subscribe as well. Like I said, next time, Construct, no, I just did Construct, Plague, and Military Quarter. Okay, see you then. Be well, stay well, and farewell.